So right.
So
Where
right.
did the song come from?
So right.
So right. So right.
So right.
So right.
I remember sending you this when I had just had the chorus. I sent you a voice memo of everything about you is so right, and you were like, that's really cool. It reminds me of something. It reminds me of something. The song itself is about comparing yourself to other people all the time, and I think that's quite a common thing nowadays. It seems like everyone's got an Instagram, everyone's got Facebook, everyone's constantly comparing themselves to each other, which isn't a good thing, I don't think. And it's certainly something, as a musician, as an artist, you can't help but fall into as well, because when you're constantly trying to, get your music in front of people and get people to listen to it, and when you see other people doing really well, you kind of get really downhearted. And same happens. I know I've got a few friends who've really struggled mentally with just not feeling good enough, really, because you see these kind of highlight reels online, and it's just not really a healthy existence. So that the song is basically about that. It was very much about synth sounds.
Yeah.
It
was straight away. Yeah. So we mentioned this kind of like nostalgic thing, the kind of 80s-ish thing. So straight away it was like the synths need to kind of take a front role in this. So straight away it was like, well, the OB6, the Dave Smith OB6 is like, that is your 80s sound right there. The pads, the leads, everything. So it was, in fact, I think the early bass was purely on this as well, on the OB6, before we added real bass and stuff.
That's on everything.
It's literally on
the whole album.
The whole record.
Yeah.
And the OB6 doing the bass as well on this one. So it's almost like...
Makes you feel happy.
It just makes you feel good. Just in pretty much every element of the track on this one was doubled with real stuff versus kind of synthesized stuff. So even the low end, we've got those squelchy OB6 bass lines. And then you get the real bass in there. John Proud, absolutely smashing it as usual. Doing his thing for a bit of life in there. But yeah, the synths was a big part of this one.
Absolutely, and the drum loops.
The drum loop kicked it all off, really, in terms of production. It was about finding it. Part of that, for me, that kind of nostalgic 80s thing is about the relentlessness of the music, it just has so much energy and optimism. So this loop, we wanted to try and capture that, just a relentless loop, just the kick driving away. So we came up with this little loopy fella here. Just samples processed through some of the guitar effects chain. I think we used the deco a lot, didn't we?
I think we used
Strymon deco.
The timeline.
And the timeline.
I think everything was committed through the timeline.
So
that sound.
We're creating some loops and then running it through some of these outboard effects to kind of get it sound cool.
And everything about you is so right. Everything about you is so right. Everything about you is so right. What's wrong with me?
Yeah, so originally that was the chord progression. Actually, that was the kind of straight ahead each time. But Adam and I kind of messed around with it and came up with some more interesting things.